Hello everyone and welcome to the 6th episode of Bootstrap tutorial series for beginners, checkboxes and radios. Checkboxes are for selecting one or several options in a list, so before we move on, let's have a very basic HTML checkbox, and we'll be using Visual Studio Code as our code editor. And if you need to learn more about VS Code, you can watch my VS based series and find the links in the description below. Let's open our Explorer, and here we have got our project folder with various folders and files. Let's click on this sample, and I'm gonna make a copy of this file, and let's rename it as bootstrap checkboxes and radios. Hit enter, and let's select all the instances of this sample text with Control or Command D, and let's replace it with the name of our file, which is bootstrap checkboxes and radios. Hit save, and let's open this document in the browser with the help of this live server extension. If you do not have, you can install it from extensions. And now this extension will take 100,000 million years to open this document in the browser, and that has opened. Let me close this empty tab. So here we have got bootstrap checkboxes and radios.html with the heading. And now let me resize our browsers, or let's keep both the windows side by side, our editor and the browser. Alright, that looks perfect. Now let me close our Explorer with the hotkey Control or Command B, and let's go ahead. And as we decided earlier, let's create a very basic HTML checkbox input. So for that, I am going to add a heading here with our snippet. Let's type in here HTML checkbox. Alright, that looks perfect, and hit save, and we have got this pretty nice and decent heading. And let me open our, let's go all the way down and see. Yes, I have this, I have a styling for our text as 30 rem. Let's make this 20. Hit save. Now that looks perfect. And let's open our sample, so I don't need to replace it repeatedly. Let's make this one 20 as well. Hit save, and let's close the sample and get back to our checkboxes and radios HTML. And let's type in here, I'm gonna add here a very basic HTML provided checkbox input, and let me add that in here as well. And type in here checkbox input. That looks cool. And let's cut this extra line and go to the next line, and let's type in here, I'm gonna add a form here. And inside form, by the way, we have been and we will be using Emmet expressions to code faster. And if you need to learn more about Emmet, you can watch my Emmet based series and find the link in the description below. So let's go ahead, and inside that form element, I'm gonna add an input with a class, say null, and we'll replace it with our desired classes in a little bit. And I'll also have a type here, type equals checkbox. Alright, and at the same level, I'm also gonna add a label with null class, and let's add some content here, say check me out. And let's keep this one for you, and I'm gonna comment this out, and it will be helpful for your practice. And let's make this second one work for us. Hit save. Let me wrap our editor. Alright, and let's scroll all the way up. So that's what we have, our HTML provided checkbox. And now let's see the power of Bootstrap, and I'm gonna copy this whole guy, and let's add here a heading and type in here Bootstrap checkbox input. And let's come in here, and I'm gonna remove this commented out emit expression, and let's change these null classes. Let's say form, and for input let's have form check, and for label let's have form label, and it's safe. And that gives us the same. Sorry, you will also need to add here input, form check input. Hit save, and if you notice, this is HTML styled checkbox, and this is Bootstrap styled checkbox. Alright, let me resize our browser again. That's great. And we can have variations like check disabled and check disabled. Let's select this whole block of code and make a copy, and let's type in here checkbox input. I'm gonna add in here, say, checked, and to make this one checked you just need to add here another attribute, which is checked. It's saved, and this is checked by default. And you can also have another variation, which is, say, let's change this to checked, and I'm gonna make this disabled. It's safe, and that is disabled. I'm gonna copy this block of code again, and I'll show you another variation. You can have disabled. I'm gonna select all the instances and add here checked. It's safe, and now you have checked and disabled, so your users cannot make any decisions on this checkbox. So likewise, we can also have radio. Let's copy our first checkbox. I'm gonna copy this. I think I have form. Let's copy this element from here and paste it right here, and I'm gonna rename it as radio. And make sure you select all the instances, hit save, and now we have got Bootstrap radio input. Alright, and you can also have variations for radios, like I'll give you only one right now, and that is let's select all the instances and add in here checked and disable, and then I am going to add checked and disable. Let's cut that from here and add it right here, checked and disabled. It's safe. So we have checked and disabled radio, and after radio and checkbox we can also have another variation. Say we can have let's select all the instances, and I'm gonna remove it. Let's escape, and I'm gonna type in here switch, and let's change this as well as switch. It's safe. And to convert a radio or checkbox into switch, we'll need to add one more. I think we forgot to add one class here, which is, it's also recommended that you select both of these guys, your input and label, and wrap them with a class say form hyphen switch. All right, and hit save, and let's check this. So this is switch, and you will need to make this change. I mean this form switch to each of your inputs and labels. So let's maximize our editor, and I'm gonna make these changes to all of our input, because I'll also put this file in a repository for you to practice. Let's wrap this body as well with form hyphen check, save, and let's go here as well, and let's wrap that. Let's wrap it with, and type in here form hyphen. I'm gonna pause the video until I make all the changes, and we'll start over. Hit save, and alright, so welcome back. And now we have this switch, and I'm gonna resize our browser, our editor. So after switch, you can have disabled and checked switch as well. So let's copy this block of code from here, and I'm gonna add in here switch. We don't need switch radio. Okay, this is only switch. Let's cut that, or both the instances, and let's go to the second one, save. Okay, and I am going to make this disabled. Let's make this disabled and checked. And to make this disabled and checked, let's come here to our input element and type in here, say disabled and check, save, and we have disabled and checked switch input. So by default, any number of checkboxes and radios that are immediate sibling will be vertically stacked and appropriately spaced with .form-check. Let me show you what I mean by that. So let's come in here and let's copy all of these lines, make a copy, and add a line here, and let's rename it as disabled. Say I'm gonna change this back to CHECKBOX, and let's rename it as well, CHECKBOX, CHECKBOX. Alright, and I'm gonna remove this tag for now. Let's keep it right there, and then we'll be adding between. So let's remove this disabled and checked, and let's replace this radio with checkbox. Hit save, and we get this bootstrap checkbox input example here, and let's check it as well so you can see it. Alright, and what I mean by that, they are all vertically stacked and appropriately spaced with this form switch class. Let's copy and make a copy of this block of code a couple of times. Hit save, and if you notice that all of these three checkboxes are vertically stacked. Now if you want to put all the checkboxes in the same line, what you can do is, say I am going to make a copy of this whole block of code, and make a copy, and let's bootstrap checkbox And what I'm gonna do, let's get back in here to our previous this vertically stacked checkboxes. I'm gonna make some changes in the heading as well. Bootstrap vertically stacked checkboxes. Hit save and let's copy this text from here and go to our copy that we have recently created, and I'm gonna rename it, or I'm gonna add here Bootstrap. Let's paste it here and replace this vertically with horizontally. Bootstrap horizontally stacked checkboxes, and I forgot to add E after this checkbox. Okay, so let's get back in there because we should have the same mistake here as well. So let's add E here as well. Hit save and let's copy this horizontally stacked text and paste it here in the heading. That was the comment. Vertically stacked, horizontally stacked checkboxes. Let's paste it there. Bootstrap horizontally stacked. Let's scroll down and check what we have. Actually, I got confused in too many instances. Bootstrap horizontally stacked checkboxes, and let's remove this checkbox from here. We don't need it. Okay, cut that from here. Hit save. Alright, so Bootstrap horizontally stacked checkboxes. So what you need to do is just come in here and select all the instances of this. Let's scroll down a bit so we can see all the divs having a class form switch, and let's select all the instances of the text and add in here form-check-inline. Hit save, and that way you can have horizontally stacked checkboxes. Let me resize our browser. Why do we have this out coming in the next line? Check me out, form check label, and I think there should be, let's say, form, and let me resize our browser. That should form check label. Okay, let me check where is the mistake. Form switch, sorry, actually this is form switch, and what I'm gonna change here is that should not be form switch, that should be form check. So let's select all the instances of this form switch class and replace this switch with check. It's safe. Alright, now that fixes the issue, and we have horizontal checkboxes. After that we can have say if you want your checkboxes, say these checkboxes, and if you want them to be positioned to the end, so what you can do, let's come in here and copy Bootstrap vertically stacked, and I'm gonna copy this whole block of code, and let's go all the way down and let's paste our recently copied code, and let's rename it as vertically stacked, and I am going to replace it with, let's select the second instance and let's replace it with reverse checkboxes. And to send all of these checkboxes to the end, what you need to do is just come in here and let's select. I also left it right there, so let's select all the instances, and first you need to make a change here. Let's replace this switch with check and add here form-check-reverse. Hit save, and let's go all the way down our browser, and now you notice that all of these checkboxes are sent to the end. Let's get back in here, and we still have somewhere form check, form switch vertically stocked, and make sure that you also change this form check class. Let's select all the instances and change and replace this with check, form check. Hit save. Alright, now let's go ahead. Say if your checkboxes don't have label text, you can omit form check class, meaning this class. So say I'm gonna make a copy. Let's go all the way down and check what we have here. Is it again? Let me maximize our window, and I'm gonna make a copy of these two guys here from here. Make a copy, and let's come in here and add our heading, and I'm gonna call this checkboxes without label, and let's paste our recently copied elements here. Hit save, and let's resize our editor and see what we have. So this is what we have, and alright, so let's cut that from here. Hit save. Now say if you don't have label text, you can omit this, as I have already done. I have omitted this form check div, and now we only have input because we don't have any text, label text here. So you can go with this as well, and let me add some room here. You can also have checkboxes and radios like buttons. Now let me copy. Let's come in here and copy these input and label, and let's go all the way down. Okay, and let's add in here a heading, check boxes, and say let's have an example of checkboxes toggle buttons. Hit enter, and let's paste our recently copied code. Hit save, and here we'll need to add, we don't need to add any form check class because yes, we do have. Let's add here form check because we have label text here. So let's wrap both of these elements inside form-check. Hit save. That adds a little bit padding here at the beginning. Now to turn this checkbox into toggle button, what you need to do is just come in here and select the class of our input, this form check input, and let's replace it with button hyphen check, and let's select this form label, and you will also need to replace it with the base button and the variation, say button hyphen primary. And I hope everything is fine. Hit save, and that converts your checkbox into button. Now if you try to click on this toggle button, it doesn't work because you will also need to add some more attributes here. Say, let's add an attribute ID, and you can give a value whatever you like, say button hyphen check. And let's copy this ID and give a reference of this ID here in the value of our for attribute in this label element, and let's paste that in here, hit save, and now if you click on this check, it works. So if you click on this, it turns dark blue. Hope you like it. And you can also have variations like checked or disabled. Let's come here and make a copy of this block of code and type in here, say checked and disabled, and I'm gonna comment this out, and you will need to add here both the attributes checked and disabled. Hit save. All right, let's remove this class. Okay, let's select this instance as well, and I'm gonna remove this div from here with the command remove tag. Hit save. Now they both are in the same row. That looks much better. Alright, now radios are for selecting one option from many. You can select one at a time. As we have added checkboxes as toggle buttons, you can also have radios as toggle buttons. Let's come in here, and I am going to copy checkboxes toggle buttons, and let's select this whole block of code, and I think I should select up till here. Now let's copy and let's come in here and paste that, and I'm gonna change the heading checkboxes. Instead of checkboxes, let's make this radios or simply radio. Hit save, and we have got here radio toggle buttons, check me out, and I am also going to change the text of these previous checkboxes toggle buttons. And let's get back in here and hope this is the one. Toggle check me out, I'm gonna make this. So let's select both the instances and add here toggle check me out. That is cool, and let's hit save. And what I'm gonna do is let's radio toggle buttons, and let's add here toggle radio button, and first I'm gonna make this. Let's come here to input element, and the value of its type attribute will be radio. Hit save, and now we have toggle radio button. It's not working because we did not change the ID. Let's come here and change the ID for this. Okay, let's make this, say add here simply 1, and come here to the for attribute, and let's add here 1 as well. Hit save, and that should work now. Alright, so you can select one from many, so it's not unchecking because we don't have another option here. So let's copy this buddy from here, and I am going to add here. You will also need to change the ID of this button. Let's select the second instance and make this 122. Hit save, Alright, now if you want to check this one, you can select this one or this one. Alright, hit save, and I am going to make this one say button secondary. Hit save. Alright, so we should have some difference in colors. Okay, let's get back here and change this primary as secondary. Let's save. Alright, and I'm also going to prettify our document. Hit save. That looks much better now. And now let's go ahead all the way down here and let's make some room for us, because that was cleaned by the prettifier, or prettier, sorry. And now let's go ahead. You can have styles like outlined styled buttons. So for that, let's come here and I am going to copy, let's copy this one, I guess, and let's find it here. Okay, and let's copy everything from here, from the commented out text to this whole input and label. Let's copy that and go all the way down and let's paste it here and fix the indentation. Hit save and we get this. Alright, checkboxes, toggle buttons, and now I am also going to add here, say, let's close this, fine, and I'm gonna select this input and label and let's make a copy. Hit save and I am going to make another copy. Hit save, or let's keep two. Alright, so if you want to change the style of your button, you can add style like let's come here and select both the instances and add in here outline hyphen. Let's keep this one as primary and this one should be secondary. Let's save, and now you have. Alright, so you will also need to change, I always forget to change the ID. Let's select both the IDs and make this say -2, and you will also need to change the 4 attributes value. Alright, let's make this 2 as well. Let's save, and now if you click here, it's still not working because I think we have the same ID mentioned above. So let's make this 4 should be 3, and this ID, let's select the other instance and make this 3. Hit save. Now if you select this one, it starts to work. And if you notice, this is not working because you also need to change the ID of this one as well. Let's come in here and select both the instances and make this 4. Hit save. Alright, that looks much better now. Alright, now let's talk about how you can customize your Bootstrap style checkboxes. Let's come in here and I'm gonna maximize our browser and let's open getbootstrap.com documentation and let's find here checks and radios, or let me find here only radios, and let's click on this link and go all the way down here to the SAS variables section, and here we have got ton of variables that you can use to. Let me zoom out our browser. Alright, And all of these SAS variables you can use to customize your Bootstrap styled checkboxes and radios. And for the demonstration, let's take this guy, form check input width. That should change the form check input, or we can take something else if we want. Inline margin, we have variables for switches. Okay, so let's get back here and see what we can work with. The width, that is for the width of the check input. Let's copy this guy from here, and I'm gonna resize our browser. Alright, let's undock this, and I'm gonna minimize it. Let's keep this one as it is and go back to VS Code, and I'm gonna open our main.scss. Let's go before @import rule and paste our recently copied variable and remove this extra space, and make sure that your watch SAS extension should be working. And let's save our file. And now it's gonna take 1000 million years to generate the normal CSS, and it has I guess it has generated the file. And now if you notice, okay, let's open our variables and see what we have here. So variable for changing the width of our check input, and for that let's first have go to checkboxes and radios HTML source document, and let's go all the way up here, and I am going to copy form switch, this guy from here, or say this one. Okay, and let's make a copy, and let's go all the way to the end, and let's paste that in here. And I'm gonna change the text of our comment and heading to customization. Hit save, and let's bring up our browser. Alright, that is checkbox. Now if you want to increase the width of your checkbox, which is right now 1 rem, what you can do is just come in here and you can make this 2, 3 or 4, whatever. So if you notice that it has increased the size of all of the width of your checkbox. Alright, so you can play with all these variables. Say what else do we have? Let me find something else. Form check inline margin end, and then we have variables for switches, and we have various variables, say form check input background. So let's take this variable from here. I'm gonna copy it, and let's get back to VS Code, and what I'm gonna do is let's close this panel for now, and let's replace this variable with the recently copied variable. And right now we have this input here, so what I'm gonna do is let's make this green. Let's keep that as it is, and I'm gonna remove this extra space for now. Hit save, and let this watch SAS do its work, and let me resize the browser, and let's bring up our browser. And now if you notice, that has changed the background color of your checkboxes. So with the help of all of these variables, you can customize the Bootstrap form checkboxes and radios. And let me get back to VS Code, and I'm gonna turn off or close the panel for now, and let's turn off our watch as extension. Alright, let's turn this off, and I'm gonna close our panel, and let's comment out this variable to restore, and let's turn watch as back on. Hit save, and let's bring up the browser to make sure that everything is restored, and it's not watching right now. Let's turn this back on. Alright, so it has restored the default styling. So that's how you can customize Bootstrap checkboxes with all of these variables. Let me bring up our browser. I'm gonna close this panel. Alright, so that was all about checkboxes and radios input. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.